it's time to talk about face camo, because the human brain is predisposed to identify faces, even when they're not there. That's why we see the man in the moon. That's why we see trees, because the human brain is wired biologically to find the human face. That's the nature of being a social primate. So even if you've got great camo on your kit, you've painted your rifle and everything, if you haven't painted your face and you've got white pasty skin like me, you're going to stand out. And even from a distance, people can identify the human face. And the human face is very, very recognizable. You can see, based on this image right here, the way we identify faces is typically how the light hits the face and how we see shadows. So you have bright spots like the forehead, nose, cheekbones, and chin, and you have shadows like the eye sockets under the nose, the underside of the cheeks, and the underside of the chin. And with those just light and dark areas, you can very quickly see the human face, and that is going to give you away. So when we apply face paint, we want to try and invert the shadows and create asymmetry. We want to turn the light parts dark and the dark parts light, and then we want to make it so that you don't see that symmetrical look, because that classic T-shape with the brow in the nose and the dark eye sockets is very, very, very recognizable. So the more we can distort that, the better off we'll be. So the first example over here is exactly what not to do, where we darken the dark and we lighten the light. So the cheekbones and the nose and the forehead, that is now light. You see that sharp, symmetrical T-shape pattern, and you have dark eye sockets. You have the dark under the chin, accentuating the shadows of the face. So now even if you squint your eyes and look at this from a distance, you're going to see a face. Like, it looks like a face. In the same way the human skull looks like a face, or a jack-o'-lantern looks like a face. This looks like a face, and is a very bad way to do face paint. This right here is the more scientifically correct way to do it. You can see I've darkened the brow, we've lightened the eye sockets, we've darkened the cheekbones, but I didn't make it symmetrical. I used a dark brown here, I used a black over here, and I used a dark green on one side of the nose, black on the other, so that you don't really see that clear T-shape. It's still kind of there, but it's a little bit distorted. We've darkened the tip of the chin, but the underside is much lighter. And so when you look at it, your brain is kind of struggling to kind of make sense of what it's actually seeing. From a distance, this is very, very effective. And you can just go and do this by just recognizing, the dark spots become light, the light spots become dark, and then make it a little chaotic from there. But sometimes the terrain and the vegetation may create situations where more distinct patterns like tiger stripes and stuff like that will work very well. The striping can be very, very effective with more like linearly oriented vegetation. If there's lots of trees and vines and grasses and stuff, this can work really, really well. But the principles still stay the same. So you see I've done a tiger stripe. I've done the crossing diagonal lines, but we still have dark cheekbones. The forehead is still primarily dark. The tip of the nose is mostly dark. The eye sockets I left light. The underside of the chin is light. And we can still have those same principles with a broader pattern. I could also do this in a more incorrect way and have these dark stripes going through the eyes and the light spots on the forehead, and that would create more of an effect like this. So make sure if you're going to do these cooler patterns, make sure you still apply those same principles overall. And now to do this, of course, we have different face camos. You can get the camo compacts that have multiple colors. That one's a 5 paint. This is a 3 paint. But also at the same time, this really good striped one, diagonal stripe, is just one of the simple 2-tone camo paints. Typically, you have to choose kind of a hybrid between what you want to do. The softer the paints are, the easier they are to apply, but the faster they'll wear off with sweat. So pick your poison. And of course, if the weather permits and you've got the gear, there's nothing wrong with wearing a balaclava or a face net to obscure it as well. You don't always have to do face paint, but face paint is an effective way, and you can also do it with mud or ash or lots of field expedient techniques if you don't have the actual kits on hand. Make sure you guys like and share this stuff if you want. I don't normally ask people to do that, but this one actually took a lot of work to do. So, and also on our YouTube channel, I'm doing a more extended video talking about face paint in general and how to conceal the face. So go check that out. And yeah, thanks very much.